Welcome to Awakening Women Collective Podcast, a space for courageous, conscious, impact-driven women who are ready to break free from fear, self-doubt, and overwhelm, to reclaim their power, their voice, and their confidence, to step into their most audacious self, creating an extraordinary life and lasting impact. I'm your host, Dr. Helena Rumby. I'm a former psychotherapist and now an empowerment and transformational coach and healer. And this podcast is for the woman who's done performing roles that don't fit her, who's tired of living by scripts she never consented to, who's ready to remember who she truly is and become the author of her own story. And in this first episode, I'll be sharing my own personal journey of breaking free from expectations and reclaiming my truth. I'll be sharing some powerful insights that led me to choose aliveness over playing safe. I'll guide you through a deeper exploration of my three-pillar framework that forms the foundation of the work that I do in this world. And then I'll share with you some reflection questions designed to help you begin your own journey of healing, empowerment, and alignment. And then I'll also invite you to reflect on your own stories, right? The barriers and how you can begin rewriting them to align with a higher sense of purpose. And so by the end of this episode, you'll have a clear understanding of what this podcast is all about and how it can support you in your own journey to stepping boldly into your most empowered, aligned, and limitless self. All right. So today I want to begin with a truth that's quietly shaped my life. One I didn't always have the words for, but one I've lived into again and again. And that is, I'd rather be fully alive than play it safe. Let that sit for a moment. When you hear that, what comes up for you? I know it's a big statement, right? But for me, it's not just a mantra. It's a choice I have made, often silently, often going against the grain. And it has become the heartbeat of the woman that I am today. See, I was born in Uganda, Africa, a land rich with tradition, community, and spirit. But like many patriarchal societies, the roles for women were usually written before we've taken our first breath. The expectations were really clear. Some of them included go to school, if you're lucky, get married, have children, be of service, be kind, be good. And here's the truth, these roles, they can be really beautiful when they are something you've chosen. But I felt them as expectations, not invitations. They didn't feel like choices to me. They felt like a script I had to fit into, even if it didn't fit me at that time. Yet deep inside of me, something whispered, there's more to you than this. You didn't come here to follow somebody else's map. You came to create your own. Bold, huh? And like any good person, at first I ignored those whispers. But whispers, when left unheard, they don't go silent. They grow louder. They started shaking things up. I became restless. And eventually, I began to listen. See, the world, my society taught me to seek approval, to follow the script, to be palatable, acceptable, to make others comfortable, even when it was at my own expense, right? But here's what I now know: aliveness is not found in obedience, power is not found in pleasing others, and freedom is not found in waiting for permission. I've had to make bold choices, not out of rebellion, but out of my own truth. So, as of right now, I'm not married yet. I don't have children. Not because I've rejected those parts, but because I will only walk them when they're my choice, not my assignments. And so I have had to say no to what didn't align. I've had to say yes to the mystery of an undefined path. And let me be real, it wasn't always easy. There's still voices inside of me that rise up. Maybe you know them. Stay safe. You're not good enough. Don't make waves. Who the heck do you think you are? And see, those voices, they're not your enemy. They're voices of your inner protectors trying to keep you safe. But here's what I know: playing safe is not the same as feeling fully alive. And I choose aliveness every single day. Now, I'd like to take this opportunity to share a deeper part of my own journey, one that I've been engaging in through a framework of internal family systems. And I'll share more about that, what internal family systems is, at another time. See, I've spent years dealing with what most people would recognize as big trauma, right? Experiences that were obvious and identifiable, like experiencing war and losing my sister, all by the time I was 10 years old. And for the most part, I feel like I've made peace with those events, right? But what I've discovered through my own process, through my own healing journey, through my own transformation, that there are other wounds, little t traumas, that can be just as impactful. You know, those subtle ongoing patterns of pain we carry, often without fully realizing their weight. And they can shape how we see ourselves, how we move through the world, and how we respond to challenges. And so I've been going inward, doing the deep, sometimes uncomfortable work of listening to parts of myself that have been holding on to pain for years. These parts weren't seeking to hurt me, they were just trying to protect me. I realized I had parts of me acting as protectors, keeping me endlessly busy, pushing me to achieve, to help others, to grow my business. And that's a wonderful thing. But underneath it all, this strategy was to keep me going so I wouldn't have to feel the pain that still lived within me. Through my own healing and transformational process, I discovered that healing and transformation, it requires a willingness to just slow down and truly listen, to allow those parts of myself to be seen and heard without judgment or dismissal. And it's not really about fixing myself. It's about accepting myself. It's about reclaiming all parts of myself and bringing them into wholeness. It's about expansion. Not long ago, someone said to me, "You inspire me with your confidence." And when I heard that, I paused because the truth is, I never really thought of myself as confident. I have doubts. I have hesitations just like anybody else. I question myself all the time. But I've learned something powerful, that confidence isn't always loud. It isn't about being fearless, and it isn't about perfection. To me, confidence is living in your truth, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it goes against the grain, even when the world doesn't understand you. I don't stand here as a woman who's never felt fear. In fact, I stand here as a woman who's walked through it. So true confidence isn't about being fearless. It's about willing to walk through the fear. It's about willing to go inward and face the parts of ourselves that are hurt, scared, or even furious at times. To me, the process meant acknowledging the parts of me that were working over time to keep me safe, to keep me productive, helpful, and driven. Because on some level, they believed that that was the only way to be okay and worthy of love. And what I've learned is that these protective parts, they're not the enemy. They're parts of me that have been trying to keep me safe in their own way. They believed that if they kept me moving, kept me working, kept me giving, I wouldn't have to feel the underlying pain. But here's the truth. Healing and transformation only happens when you're willing to slow down and listen, when you're willing to honor the parts of yourself that have felt burdened rather than reject or dismiss them. And I've done the work. I've come to realize that the deepest healing and transformation comes from acceptance, allowing all parts of me to be seen, to be heard, and to be loved for who they are, not for what they achieve, but for simply existing. And in doing that, I can integrate all these parts of me to become that empowered, audacious woman. So that's what true aliveness looks like to me. It's not about performing or proving, it's about being who I am fully and unapologetically. And so, having walked through my own journey of healing and reclaiming my truth, I've come to realize that confidence, healing, transformation, it's a continuous process of choosing myself again and again. And that's why I created this podcast. As one of my pod sisters says, she created her podcast for her meta. So it's a space that exists to offer a space for women like you, women who are awake, women who are self-aware, women who are impact driven and are ready. Ready for what? Ready to heal, ready to release survival-based patterns, ready to reclaim their voice, ready to rise into your truth. And so here we'll talk about identity, we'll talk about liberation, we'll talk about purpose, we'll talk about power, we'll talk about embodiment, we'll talk about psychology and spirituality and the beautiful, messy, miraculous journey of becoming audacious. I'll be interviewing some incredible women on this podcast, which is the format that I will use regularly. But today, I wanted to take the opportunity to introduce myself and the work that I do in the world. All right. And so, through my own journey of healing, reclaiming my truth, I developed a framework to guide other women who are ready to awaken to their highest potential by working with me one-on-one or in groups. And so let me walk you through it. Let me walk you through my framework. So I call them pillars. So number one, and I call it becoming liberated. And what we do in this pillar is it's all about healing and releasing the past. Because the past exists and lives in your body, right? This pill is about releasing stuck energy in your body from your past experiences. Survival mode, it keeps you trapped in fear, scarcity, self-doubt, unworthiness, societal conditioning, overwhelm, blocking you from stepping into ease, confidence, and abundance. And so as we clear this pattern, you create the inner safety necessary to, to thrive, right? Because when your energy is stuck in survival mode, it's like being on that emotional hamster wheel. You know, you're constantly reacting to life instead of creating it. Survival-based patterns such as self-doubt, procrastination, perfectionism are often rooted in unresolved energy from your past. And so when we don't address this, it's really hard to move forward. And as we release these patterns, we allow our natural states of alignment, ease, and flow that enable you to show up as your most powerful self. Pillar number 2 is called becoming empowered. And this pillar is informed by Dr. Claire Zamet's work of women-centered transformational process. And so this pillar is about moving beyond healing into action and expansion. Remember, I said earlier, I'm a former psychotherapist, and so a lot of the work is about healing. And so beyond healing is transformation and empowerment. And here it's about stepping into a new identity, an expanded self-concept aligned with your highest potential, right? It's about embodying this new concept. In this pillar, we uncover your own hidden barriers, your own inner hidden barriers. Embrace a new empowered narrative and take action from this empowered self. So in pillar 1, it's about healing, it's about releasing. In pillar 2, it's about stepping into a new story of who you are, right? And taking action from there. Why does this matter? Because many women, we remain held back by old stories, hidden barriers, societal conditioning. And this pillar is about truly breaking free. Think about a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. It's that kind of transformation. You become a new you. You step boldly into the woman you are meant to be. And so by embodying your new narrative and intentionally taking inspired action from this place, you create a solid foundation for ongoing momentum and that extraordinary life and impact you're here to make. And then pillar number 3, I call it becoming limitless. And this is about aligning with the divine. So spirituality is about expanding your awareness to embrace a much more richer, more profound sense of purpose and connection. It's about realizing that we are not isolated fragments, but integral threads woven into the fabric of our existence. So this pillar invites you to step into your highest expression and align with a calling that transcends your personal striving, right? It's about moving from constant self-improvement to fully inhabiting your inherent gifts and becoming a channel for higher possibilities. See, when you're connected with deeper alignment, you unlock powerful inner resources, intuition, wisdom, resilience, compassion, and inner strengths. And from there, purpose just naturally emerges because you're shifting from forcing outcome to cultivating genuine connections with those you're meant to serve. So your unique gifts find their highest expression through meaningful impact and service. And so why does this matter? See, at our core, we long to live with purpose, to share our gifts, talents, and experiences in a way that makes a contribution to something greater than ourselves, right? So aligning with this higher purpose, it allows for authentic expression, inner peace, and a sense of deep fulfillment. Spirituality broadens your perspective beyond the confines of your mind, inviting you to trust, let go of control, and flow and dance with life's unfolding. And so when you're living in your purpose, when you're embodying your highest potential, you get to co-create with the divine. It's about harmonizing your actions with a greater vision, allowing you to make contributions from a place of integrity, connection, and meaningful impact. And so, as you've heard me talk about these pillars, if any of this resonates with you, I'm going to invite you, book a call, and let's explore how we could work together, right? And you can find me at helenarambi.coachesconsult.com, and the links will be under this podcast. And so I'd like to end with this. We are living in a time where where a new North Star is guiding us. Unlike the generations before us, our mothers and maybe our grandmothers who were guided by a need to survive, we are the transitional generation. See, we stand at the threshold of possibility with the opportunity to self-actualize, to become all that we are capable of becoming. Our mothers, and for some of us, our grandmothers, they didn't have that choice. See, within each of us lies a blueprint, a divine design for who we are meant to become. We each hold the capacity and power to create our own heaven on earth. And so, if this is true, then what holds us back? Well, it's those inner barriers, those invisible barriers, the old stories we tell ourselves about who we are, about who others are, and what is or isn't possible for us. We get to change that. We get to create our own story. We get to author our own stories. Are you in? And so I want to leave you with a few reflection questions for you to journal. I'm such a big advocate of journaling. I journal pretty much every single day, maybe twice a day. And so I'd like you to journal on these questions. Where in your life have you chosen safety, playing it safe, over being fully alive? What old stories or beliefs are you still carrying that no longer serve you? And if you could release those outdated stories, who would you become? And what would it look like to live from your truth, not somebody else's expectations of you? So take your time and journal on these questions. You don't need to know all the answers. You just need to be willing to begin. And so thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening to me, for listening to yourself, to your truth, and all the possibilities that awaits you, because there are endless possibilities. And so if this message resonated with you, if you resonated with what I've been sharing, share it, leave a review, or tell me, what story are you ready to rewrite? And so until next time, stay rooted, stay rising, and remember, you were never born to play small. You were born to be audacious. Bye for now.